What's up everyone, Seth Munsey here with Disc Golf Strong. Welcome to video 3 in our video series on core strengthening for disc golf in partnership with my friends over at Dynamic Disc and the Disc Golf Answerman Show. Really excited to have you here. If you haven't seen video 1 and video 2, make sure you go check those out. Those exercises are the dead bug and the bird dog and some advanced variations. And now in this one, we're gonna go with glute bridge, okay? So our glutes are these muscles here. They're the strongest muscles in our body, and they are very important when it comes to core strength and core stability. So you may be looking at it going, but it doesn't feel like I'm doing anything for my core. It is. The glutes are very much involved in your lower back health, your power development, your overall strength. You gotta have, if you want a strong core, you gotta have strong and engaged activated glutes, okay? So this is gonna be the glute bridge. So what a glute bridge looks like is I'm just gonna come here, I'm gonna lie on my back, I'm gonna have my knees bent, my feet flat on the ground, and my feet are about shoulder width apart, okay? So not too close and not too wide, about shoulder width apart. And all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna think about driving my heels into the ground, and these glutes here, I squeeze them together, okay? I squeeze them together, and that brings my hips up. So it looks like this. I'll show you a few reps, and then I'll break it down a little more. So here, I come up, and then back down, okay? Come up, and back down. Up, and back down. So I'm actively driving my heels into the ground and squeezing my glutes together to lift my hips up. Now when I do that, I'm making sure that I'm not going too far past. I'm pretty much coming up to where I'm bridging right here. So you'll see where they call it a glute bridge, I'm bridging. And I'm pushing my heels down actively and then come back down. And I'll go up and I'll pause for about 2 to 5 seconds. Up, squeeze these tight. I can take my fist here and hit them, and I know they're tight, and then back down, okay? So that's the glute bridge. It's pretty simple. One thing I see here is in some forms of exercise you might see or have done where people will try to roll off the ground one vertebrae at a time. We don't want to do that, okay? We want everything to be stiff and stable here and to move as one unit up and down, okay? If you feel this in your hamstring, a lot of times what's happening is the hamstring helps extend your hips. So when our hips come up, that's called hip extension, okay? That's the most powerful movement we can do in the human body is hip extension. We use those glutes. Well, the hamstring muscles here, they help out with hip extension. That's like a secondary job of theirs. Well, they attach down here and then way up in here on our hip bone. They're not very good at hip extension. It's just something that they help out with. But if our glutes are not working like they should be, if they're not activated and strong like they should be, what ends up happening is our hamstrings try to take over and do the job for our glutes. But they're really long, and they're not good at it. Okay, they just help out. But if they're trying to do it the primary, make it their primary job, then they start to cramp up. So if you start to feel that, that just indicates to us that your hamstrings are trying to take over for your glutes. And a great way to keep that from happening is glute bridges, okay? So by doing this exercise, you'll start to see improvement and that not happening anymore. So if you feel it, just straighten out your leg, relax. And what we find is that when that happens, most people, as long as they just focus on pushing those heels down and squeezing those glutes as hard as they can to lift the hips up, then the hamstrings kind of turn off a little bit, okay? They don't work as hard as they need to. The second variation I'm gonna show you here is the single leg glute bridge. Now this is a pretty advanced variation, so get good at the glute bridge before you start adding in the single leg glute bridge. So the single leg glute bridge looks like this. All I'm gonna do is lift one leg off the ground here, okay? So my right foot is off the ground. Everything else stays the same. Don't let the ribs flare up. Slight brace in the abs. palms up, arms out to the side, and I just drive my left heel into the ground. Drive left heel into the ground, okay? So the closer I keep my heel to the ground, the more challenging it's gonna be. And if there's one place where a lot of people do feel the hamstring turn on, it's these ones, because you're doing a lot more work, okay? Here, up, and down. And you can play with the different leg positions here, okay? Out to the side, back straight alongside the other leg, up and down. But again, the focus is pushing that heel down and squeezing that glute, okay? That's what makes the single leg glute bridge happen. Torso, everything comes up as one unit. We don't do the roll off the ground like they do in some other forms of exercise, like I was mentioning earlier, okay? So that I'm gonna do about 5 to 8, 10 if you're advanced. If you've been doing them a while, you can do up to 10 on one side and on the other side. Last thing I'm gonna show you here is that as I'm doing the single leg glute bridge, I wanna keep my hips, let's see if I can show you this way, keep my hips level. So I don't want one hip, I'll show this way. I don't want one hip to drop. So I wanna keep my right hip and my left hip in line, okay? If you can see that, here, they're level. My hip's not dropping, and I'm not having to shift out to the side. So straight up and down, right? So that is the glute bridge and the single leg glute bridge. Like I said, 5 to 8, 10 if you feel really good with them and you start to get advanced, you can do that. The regular glute bridge, 8 to 15. I have some people go up to 20, okay? Start playing with some holds, 2-second holds, 5-second holds, stuff like that. It's a way to change it up a little bit and do 2 to 3 rounds of those. All right, hope you all enjoyed that. Make sure you stay tuned for the next core strengthening exercise video. Have a wonderful day, everyone, and go play disc golf strong.